The Roman Empire, vast and unyielding, had an insatiable hunger for conquest. Among its many legions, none were as feared as the Ninth Legion. Their reputation for discipline and ferocity preceded them wherever they went. Yet, for all their might, they would meet an inexplicable fate, vanishing from the annals of history in the wilds of Caledonia, modern-day Scotland, in the year 120 AD. Their disappearance became the stuff of legend, a dark mystery that haunted the empire for generations. Whispers of their fate ranged from ambushes to revolts, but among the locals there was talk of something far more sinister, an ancient curse born of druidic magic that condemned the Ninth to an eternity of suffering. As centuries passed, the truth of what happened to these soldiers was lost to time, buried beneath the misty forests of the north. In the present day, the mystery of the Ninth Legion captivated the mind of one man, Dr. Marcus Vettius, an archaeologist with a lifelong fascination for Rome's lost legions. His career had been spent chasing the shadows of ancient history, but it was the fate of the Ninth that drove him most. For Dr. Vettius, this wasn't merely an academic pursuit, it was personal. His ancestors had been Roman soldiers, and tales of the Ninth's disappearance had echoed through his family for generations. He had to know the truth. After years of research, he and his team found themselves in the heart of the Scottish Highlands, where they believed the final march of the Ninth had taken place. The air was thick with fog, and the land itself seemed to resist their presence. The locals had warned him about this place, a region steeped in legends of spirits and restless souls. But Dr. Vettius was undeterred. Days into their excavation, the team made a breakthrough. They uncovered ancient Roman artifacts, armor fragments, a gladius sword, and, most notably, a weathered stone tablet etched with Latin inscriptions. Excitement surged through the camp, but with it came an unsettling feeling. Something about this discovery felt different. As Dr. Vettius studied the inscriptions, a chill ran down his spine. Though much of the text was faded, one phrase stood out clearly. "The blood of the Ninth stains this earth. Disturb them at your peril." The warning was clear, yet it only deepened Dr. Vettius's resolve. He dismissed it as ancient superstition, the product of a fearful enemy trying to ward off their Roman conquerors. That evening, he went into the nearby village to gather more information about the site. It was there that he met an old woman who had lived in the Highlands her entire life. Her eyes were sharp with knowledge, though her frail frame trembled as she spoke. "They say the Ninth marched into these lands, but none returned," she told him. "At night you can hear them, the soldiers, their armor clinking, their boots marching through the mist. Some say it's the wind, but those who have heard them know better. They are cursed, trapped in the twilight between life and death, their souls bound to this land. I warn you, leave them in peace." Dr. Vettius politely thanked her, but paid little heed to her warnings. He was a man of science, not superstition. Yet, as he returned to camp, a heavy sense of unease settled over him. That night, while working late at the excavation site, Dr. Vettius experienced the first of many inexplicable occurrences. The air was unnaturally still, save for a faint whisper carried on the breeze. It was as though the wind was speaking a language long forgotten, Latin, the tongue of the Romans. Dr. Vettius paused, listening intently, his heart beginning to race. Then, faint but unmistakable, came the sound of marching, the rhythmic thud of footsteps, growing louder with each passing moment. He turned toward the edge of the site where the mist was thickest. There, through the veil of fog, he saw them, shadowy figures moving in perfect unison, the glint of Roman armor flashing in the moonlight. He blinked, and they were gone. Shaken, Dr. Vettius returned to his tent, rationalizing the vision as fatigue from long hours of work. But the following days brought more strange events. Team members reported tools going missing, only to be found later, arranged in what appeared to be Roman military formations. One night, Julia, a young archaeologist, awoke screaming from her tent. She claimed to have seen a soldier standing over her, speaking in Latin, a language she didn't know. He said they couldn't find their way home, she whispered, pale and trembling. He begged me to help him. The team grew increasingly anxious, but Dr. Vetius pressed on, determined to uncover the truth. He delved deeper into the historical records and local folklore, piecing together fragments of the Ninth Legion story. He learned that the Legion had not simply disappeared. They had been cursed. According to ancient texts, the Ninth Legion had marched into the sacred lands of the Caledonian tribes. There, they encountered a powerful druid, a mystic who wielded ancient magic far older than Rome. When the Legion defiled a sacred site, the druid called upon the forces of nature to punish them. The earth itself rose against the Romans, swallowing them whole and binding their souls to the land. They would never return home. Instead, they were condemned to an eternity of restless wandering, forever reliving their final march. The more Dr. Vetius learned, the more he realized that the spirits of the Ninth Legion were not merely legends. They were real, and they were still here, trapped in the mist, unable to find peace. Dr. Vetius knew he had to act. Through his research, he discovered an ancient Roman ritual that could release the spirits and break the curse. The ritual required burning relics from the Legion's final march, items infused with their blood and essence. The sword, the helmet, and the cursed tablet would serve as offerings to Mars, the Roman god of war, and the spirits would be released. But as he prepared for the ritual, the hauntings reached a fever pitch. The spirits of the Legion appeared more frequently, their hollow eyes and gaunt faces filled with sorrow and rage. The mist grew thicker, swirling with unnatural force, and the air was filled with the sounds of battle, clashing swords, desperate cries, and the relentless march of Roman soldiers. On the night of the ritual, Dr. Vetius stood alone at the excavation site, surrounded by relics and the eerie silence of the highlands. As he began the ceremony, the spirits emerged from the fog, their translucent forms glowing faintly in the moonlight. They circled him, their faces etched with desperation. One spirit stepped forward, a centurion with a hollow voice. "We are lost," the ghostly figure rasped. "Help us find our way home." Dr. Vetius recited the ancient incantations, his voice trembling as the spirits pressed closer. The fire crackled, consuming the relics, and for a moment the air grew still. But as the last of the offerings burned, the spirits let out a collective wail, their forms flickering like candle flames in the wind. Suddenly, the ground beneath Dr. Vetius trembled. The spirits surged toward him, their hands outstretched, their faces twisted in anguish. He could feel their desperation, their longing for release. Just as they were about to overwhelm him, the fire flared, casting a blinding light across the site. And then, silence. When the light faded, the spirits were gone. The mist had lifted, revealing a peaceful, moonlit landscape. Dr. Vetius stood alone, the relics reduced to ash at his feet. He had done it. The curse had been broken, and the Ninth Legion could finally rest. Or so he thought. As he packed up his equipment and prepared to leave the highlands, he noticed something strange. A small Roman coin, freshly minted, lying in the dirt where the fire had been. He picked it up, turning it over in his hand. It was impossible. No coin this ancient could look so new. A chill ran down his spine. He glanced around the site, his eyes scanning the shadows. And there, standing at the edge of the forest, was a lone figure, a Roman soldier, watching him from afar. The curse, it seemed, was not fully lifted. The Ninth Legion may have found some measure of peace, but they were never truly gone.